Hello everybody. Hello Kokore. So thanks a lot for the organization. Thanks a lot also for all the translation that will happen. And I will try to keep my pace a bit low. It's not going to be easy for me because I'm used when I'm connecting also with the spirit to accelerate a bit. So I will do my best. There will be a part of exchange of experiences, exchange of not theory, but some aspects that I think that could be interesting to understand or to experience in order to move into this pranic experience. And then there would be a second part related to something more practical. So, and then at the end, the question time. So if you have any questions during the first part, keep that in mind, that should be more for the later part. So for the people
Pascal,
who...
I'm just going to remind you right away to slow down your speech if
Okay,
possible. Thank you.
more slower.
It's the
Okay.
translators. Yes. Thank you. And yes, if you have questions, please hold them till the end, and there'll be time for question and answers at the end. Thank you.
For those who have seen the trailer, I was talking about 3 different aspects. And for me to connect with this pranic adventure, it's not possible to move away from these 3 steps. So for me, they are quite important. The first one is how we can reprogram ourselves. So a lot of people, they're talking about DNA programming. And this reprogrammation, this is how we are perceiving the world, how we're able to manage the interaction we have with our environment. That could be the people around us, the friends, the family, the couple, but that could be the whole society. That could be all the different experiences in our life. So the first aspect of it, we need to understand that we are the creator of our life. So all what is happening to us is something that we have manifested. And another aspect related to that is that we are not able to change the outside world if we are not able to change the inside world. We are just actually in front of a mirror. The whole universe is just projection of our conscious mind and also unconscious mind. This is where we're having this incarnated experience. We are here to discover our divine nature. We can make a metaphor to understand how this conscious and this unconscious part are related to each other. This is the metaphor of the iceberg. Okay, if we observing an iceberg, the visible part, this is the conscious mind. This is the part of ourselves who is able to rationalize, to understand what's happening around us. But there is a big part below the surface of the water, which is connected with our unconscious part. This is where we're having our higher self. This is where there is the biggest part of ourself, which is still unknown. And to make it short, the upper part, this is what we want in our life. And the lower part, this is what we need in our life. And every time we're having friction, or I would say problems in our life, okay, problems, for me, this is just ongoing teachings. And this is the point. When we observing something in the universe, we can choose how to react towards this external trigger. But the first option of our ego mind, this is to escape from a problem, escape from a situation. But if we know that it's just a spiritual teaching, we can dive into this experience, send a lot of love to our, I would say, the part of ourself who is experiencing the separation. This is my definition from the ego. The ego is the experience of separation. I just forgot for a short moment of time that I'm a divine nature and I'm the whole universe. And this small part, which is separated, will have a manifestation. And this trigger will bring sometimes some pain, some emotions, some problems. But if I'm able to realize that actually the universe is trying to talk to me, I can just send love to actually the part of myself who has manifested this situation. And it changed completely the whole paradigm. It means by that I'm rich of all the universe is sending me as information. I'm not losing energy or time to filter out what is coming inside. So if it's a positive feedback, I just accepting it. And if it's something negative, I just refuse it. This is the filter from the ego. If I'm just opening my arms and encompass or just accepting the whole experience, the whole package as being a spiritual teachings, I'm able actually to be the witness of what's happening. And from just this paradigm, this shift of consciousness, it's allowing me to accept much more easily all what is trying to be transformed within myself. And this is the first part of the reprogramming. This is to be the witness of what's happening. So the life is the teacher, okay? And the point is the following, is how we are able to be the best students regarding this teacher. If we're starting to refuse the teachings, then not only we will lose some energy in the process, but actually we will have to receive back this teaching again and again until it's understood. So from I would say a wisdom perspective, if we are agreeing that we are not able to escape ourselves, then we're trying just to be the best witness as possible. So the life is not something that we need to control. This is something which is already happening. And the idea is to take this experience as an opportunity to grow. And the reprogramming, this is the skill that we can apply to how we interacting with the universe. So if we are able to be the best programmer ever, we'll be always actually the best students regarding the life as a teacher. And I mean by that, if I'm observing during my day, for example, a situation who has been quite hard for me, I could experience some emotions or some problems, or my body has some problems, illness or accident or whatsoever. What I can do is just to focus my mind or focus my attention or consciousness directly toward this situation and to send love to it. I'm talking about love because actually the energy of changes is only efficient if we're using this unconditional love. If we're able to produce any changes and it's not based on unconditional love, it's based from the ego and it will not last on the long term. So the idea is not to refuse any teachings, so to accept it and to observe it with unconditional love. And from this point, I can change everything. So every moment of our life is the perfect teachings for being the best part of ourselves or the best person that we can be. So we are not perfect because we are still full of ego or ongoing teachings, but the present moment is perfect. And more we're able to connect with our consciousness, with the present moment, more we will be able actually to grow along with the life and not create energy to refuse the teachings of our life. So the reprogramming is actually much more easy that we can think about. So the reprogrammation is not based off rational mind. So if we observing how we are built, this is different layers. So if this is the physical body, there is here the emotional body, the mental body. This is where we're having our thoughts, and the spiritual body. So this spiritual body is having the whole knowledge. This is based on pure unconditional love. And we would like to have this information to diffuse up to the cells level. So our DNA is manifesting our reality. And if we would like to change this pattern in order to be more acceptable or more able to receive from the life in whatever we want to manifest, we just need, I just just mean to open the doors of the mind and the emotional body. And it's just happening. The soul is working in the self-love. So the question is how we are able to open those doors. And the first aspect is to calm the mind. So we are not our thoughts. And the biggest part of our thoughts are based on the traumatic events of our emotional body. So if we're starting to listen carefully to our thoughts, or actually not the thoughts, but the need behind the thoughts, actually we will realize that it's always based on the three emotions: anger, fear, or sadness. I'm not talking about the thoughts, for example, when I just understanding something. This is more an intuitive process, not the rational part of the mind. And I'm not talking about when we're using our mind, for example, to anticipate something, to program something, to calculate, to analyze something. I'm more talking about the monkey mind, the thoughts that we are spammed during our days. This is costing a lot of energy. And this is also shifting our consciousness out of the present moment. So in order to accept the second part of my talk, we need just to understand that the door to get there is to be in the present moment. So everything is happening in the present moment. If we're moving our consciousness out of the present moment, so quite often our mind, we would like to think in the future in order to control it, because our past is not healed. And every time it's happening, I'm not able to change anything anymore. So the reprogramming is happening always in the present moment. But it's not sufficient to be in the present moment. We need also to have the emotional body open in order to reprogram it. So if we're talking a bit more about the science behind it, like you were saying before, that I've been doing some study in physics and then moved to neurophysics. We were studying the altered state of consciousness, and with our awareness, we can put some kind of brain waves. So when I'm talking with another person, we can talk about beta brain waves. When I'm shifting my awareness, for example, in the dream state or more relaxed state, this is the alpha brain waves. And this is already an open door. This is when we're letting go of the controlling mind. But if we want to connect with the cells of our body, we need to go a bit deeper. This is what we call the theta brainwaves. So the theta brainwaves is when we are able to connect deeper than the emotional body. So, for example, in hypnotherapies, they will work on these different frequencies. So if we just calming the mind, we can starting to suggest the person, create new programming. But if we're going a bit deeper, we can actually connect with the cells of our body in order to talk directly to them. And this is where I would like to share this experience. If you're able to connect with your physical body, like if you were talking to a friend, you have an immense power within yourself to reprogram yourself, not only for the pranic experience, but for the whole life. This is to be healthy, to have an experience of abundance, to have time, to have happiness, to have whatever you want. Because if you can choose what kind of paradigm you would like to experience, then you can manifest whatever you want. But the art of this reprogramming is to go from a place of accepting where we are right now. This is not the ego mind who is deciding to manifest something out of fear or out of desires. This is our higher self which is in a certain situation and would like to experience something more related to the unconditional love. And this is where it's happening. It's like the cells, they have already all the solutions, but they need sometimes a validation, like an impulse of the right code in order to start to manifest what they want to manifest. So if I summarize about this programming, if you're able to bring your consciousness in the present moment with a nice feeling within yourself, your soul is already starting to reprogram yourself. But you can also do it, I would say, more directly, more consciously. For example, when you're meditating, you can set an intent to direct the energy of your consciousness into some specific changes. For example, if you're experiencing some emotions or a situation which is repeating itself and you would like to change it, you can set the intent to change it and just hold the frequency within yourself. Just being well with yourself, the mind is in holidays, and this is already enough to make the changes. Okay. We can also go with the words and make, I would say, really thoughts programming. For example, every time I'm, I don't know, entering in the train or in the bus, I feel full of trust. Or every time enjoying a landscape, I healing myself. We can program it in every situations. But we will get to a point where we realize that actually the rational mind is always a limitation. And if we can just allow actually the wisdom of our higher self to make the reprogramming, we will be always the witness of some miracles. And it will be always better than what we can think about with the rational mind. So this reprogramming is an act of presence. And that's why actually, for me, it's really important to go with the meditation. It's learning ourselves to be living through our higher self, through the eyes of our higher self, and not identified with our thoughts or this piece of theater, this game that we are within. This life is just a mirror effect of what we are supposed to learn. So it's quite important, okay, but we shouldn't lose ourselves within this illusion game. We are all one, and we are all transforming our consciousness. So at every moment, we are a different person. And the idea is really to accept these changes within the present moment. Because our ego is always willing to create a story, a logical story, where we are always the same. So if yesterday I was like that, then I would like to be the same today. And this is actually the biggest trap or the biggest resistance to evolve spiritually. If we are able to be fresh, to actually try to discover who we are at every moment, there is no limitation of the changing. So we should be like a child, really to have this innocent vision of the world and just to be amazed of experiencing the life through our bodies. And by being with this astonishing glance, we are able to not stop ourselves, not being on the path or on the blocking path of our changes. So that would be for the first part. The second part is more related with the prana energy. So a lot of people, maybe they can assume this is like a resource. Okay, if I'm hungry and there is a piece of bread on the table, if I'm taking this bread, then the other people around the table, they will not access to this resource. There will be not enough for the other people. But for me, the prana is more like an information. If I can connect to this information, I will be rich of this information. But I will not steal this information from other people. And if I'm able to give this information to another person, this other person will be rich also from this information. And I will not lose this information. So it's really a collaborative resource, let's put it like that. And when we're observing all the changes in this planet right now and all this interest in the pranic feeling, I would guess that the next generation, the people, they will start to experience it without having read something about it. Just on the cells level, they will start to experience this panic state. That could be for a few days, for a few weeks, but they will get this experience because this information will be part of mankind. So more there are people working on the panic energy, more it will be easier to access to this information field for the collective. We can talk about egregor or collective thought. We can think about it like a cloud of information. And more the people are reaching to this cloud of information, more the cloud is starting to come closer to the collective until this is part of the majority. And I would say if our society is starting to change its paradigm with something more spiritual, in maybe just a few generations, the new babies, they will be already experiencing on the cells level from the beginning, the panic state. And this is not science fiction. This is really energy diffusion of information. And this is happening really quick. Let's observe 10 years ago, not a lot of people were knowing about this possibility to be fed directly by the energy. And now it's starting to be more and more part of, I would say, daily conversation. There was still some work to be done, and I'm really grateful about this festival. It's starting to create this collective thought form. Because before to manifest something, we need first to realize that actually it's possible, that it's existing. And then we can work on the interaction we have with this reality, with this situation. And even if we are not able to manifest it 100% in ourselves right now, this is also the path, I would say, the philosophy behind the pranic consciousness, which is so interesting. Because for me, this is one of the most direct, I would say, path to get evolving with our spirituality. Because about the prana, this is the access of this unconditional love. For me, the prana is an information which is surrounding us. This is this pranic, I would say, quantum field. Then we can access only if we're raising our frequency. So if I'm really sad, I had a really heavy days, I had, I don't know, an argument with my boss, my frequency is so low like that, then I will start to look for more salty or sweet food, and I will eat much more. But if I'm starting to raise my frequency and getting there to the point where I'm so in love with the life experience, I'm having meanings in my life, then actually the food doesn't matter. And we will just forget about, oh, the lunchtime, I forgot about it. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is this freedom connected with the food. So if I'm summarized what we shared here, the prana is an information. And to connect with this information, this is to change our frequency. This is really like a radio button. If we tune into it, we access to this information. And now we will see the connection with the first part. How to tune into this frequency is to have the mind which is not blocking anything. So we have a clear mind. We have the emotional body which is high. We are feeling well. And this is already happening. So when we're able to reprogram ourselves, we are at the same time feeding ourselves from this pranic experience. So the prana is food, if you want, is an energy, but it's also information. And just by connecting with this information, we will increase our consciousness experience and start reprogramming everything within ourselves. So actually, just by an act of being, we're starting to fed and to heal. And I would say nowadays our society is a bit crazy with the activities. We are always trying to move to the next step, to achieve more, to be quicker, to be more efficient. This is all about this yang energy. There is this in the Taoism, this yang and this yin energy. The first one is the active energy. And the prana feeding could be connected with the yang energy. Some people, they're doing really a lot of breath work. Some other people, they're doing some qigong, some yoga. There is a lot of different, I would say, practice that we can do. But the one I would like to advise you to experience is the one more related with the yin energy, just by bringing your consciousness within yourself. And from this yin energy, we're starting to actually to replenish our batteries. Okay. And when we're getting to this point of full of energy, then this energy is starting to activate within ourselves and starting to create transformation. So actually, we don't have to do anything, or we need just to avoid to do anything and just bring our consciousness within. If there is just one sentence that you can keep from this talk, is the following sentence. The energy follow where we're bringing our awareness. So if I'm bringing my awareness there, then the energy will start to flow there. So just by, for example, focusing on my breathing, I will bring energy in my physical body. If I'm just feeling well within myself, I will start to heal my emotional body. So if I'm able to connect with the four bodies that we were describing before, physical body, emotional, mental, and spiritual body, if I'm able to connect with my consciousness with the four body at the same time, the energy is starting to flow. And it's just happening. So now we will get to the last aspect. This is what we can do practically to manifest a journey related to this pranic experience. The first shortcut, that would be first to be happy, and then to apply this abundance of energy related to the pranic feeling. Because when we are happy, we are already connected with the four bodies in a harmonized way. And this is from this harmony, then we can access to the pranic feeling. So the biggest part of the work is how to be happy. And when it's done, we can just set an intent and connect to this pranic feeling. But we can also make different aspects about this pranic feeling. There is maybe some memories we need to be cleansed, related with some hunger, some thirsty experiences that could be in this lifetime or different lifetimes. That could be related with some limited belief that we don't know that it's possible to live without any food. That maybe I will be judged from other people if I'm choosing this path. There would be a lot of different limited beliefs. That would be related with the memories of ourselves. If the cells have already experienced some hunger problems, I will need to go there and make place in order to remember the cells that they can connect to this frequency. So there could be a lot of different works who can be done in order to put a clear intent to reprogram with the prana. But actually, we don't need to rationalize everything. We can just set the intent and just sit in connection with our higher self. Okay, if I'm observing a bit the pranic community, there is different kind of way to get the prana. And I've been connected with this experience when I was doing some healing work with the spirits. So I'm a spiritual healer. So I'm connecting with the spirits, they're coming closer. And when I'm inside the trance state, my frequency is rising up. And from this, I would say, increase of frequency, I can tap into a bigger source of information. but also this this energy of the prana. And this is also the beginning of my journey with the pranic experience. I was having some weekends of healing, and then the next few days, I was not having any hunger, and also my sleep time was decreasing. And it happened several times, and I had no idea what was happening. And by looking on the internet, I just realized, okay, this is called the Breatharianism or the pranic experience. So this is actually the way I discovered this experience, and also the way I would say I suggest the people to go. This is first to know yourself, to know your soul, and then to reach from other soul to ask for help. And this soul, that could be just the source, that could be Mother Earth, Gaia, that could be the soul's family, or we can call it also guardian angels. That could be just other friends, brothers and sisters of light that can help you to connect with this frequency. And if we're starting to grow, I would say, consciousness related with how we interacting with our higher self, we'll start to understand more the energy and the presence which are surrounding us in our daily life. And from there, we can also reach to those friends who are maybe willing to help us to reach this pranic experience. So with my journey, I've been connected with some beings that has been incarnated on this planet, and other that has not been incarnated here. So some other beings who are working as channel, so helping us to reach to different frequency, but also some beings who would like to bring these pranic experiences in mankind. So this is just my path to get there. There is like a lot of different paths. But if you would like to move along this this way, just connect to me. And for example, if we observing the Breatharian community, there was a lot of people who are channeling, who are talking with inspiration, or also doing some healing from the spirits. They are all the same kind of finding a way actually to get there. There is the yogi people, there is this the channels, and there is also the people, I would say, with a huge faith, the people who know deep within with so much strength that they are spiritual beings. They have been able to overcome this maya, this illusion of this incarnation. So there is the faith people, I would say, they have been more present in the last century. They were having this experience with the pranic state. Quite often they had the visits also from God, or from one day to another one, they were shifting their paradigm, and there were no need to be fed anymore physically. But nowadays, if we don't have so much faith, then we can work on different aspects to reinforce, to increase this faith. But at the end of the day, we still have to make this jump and to really realize that we are spiritual beings, but we can prepare the settings for that, for this experience. Okay. So if I'm just following the red line of what we shared, we were talking about how to reprogram ourselves. This is to be the best version of who we are, and how to evolve without suffering. Okay, the suffering is not a necessity. It's coming because we were forcing with our ego in one specific direction. But when we're learning to let it go and to be this witness, we don't need to have suffering anymore in order to evolve. Then we move to how to connect with this prana field. And then we move to the practical aspect. So the practical aspect, that would be to be the best version of yourself at every moment. And then we will talk about directly how manage the food. So for example, what you can do is during the day, make some short breaks of just asking yourself what is avoiding you in the present moment to be happy. There is no need actually to answer it, but maybe just to answer it vibrationally, not with a rational mind, but just allow your consciousness to be back in the present moment and just heal all what is avoiding to be in the present moment in this abundance experience. And more you are able to do that during the day, more it will start to be like a habit to bring your consciousness always in the present moment to create the transformation. And it's also like a healing process, because every time we're feeling something which is shifting our awareness away from the present moment, it's because there is an ego experience. There is a teaching here. So just by acknowledging the fact that there is something who needs to be healed, it's already opening the door of the transformation. So the first aspect that would be to make this breaks during the day and just asking ourselves, what is avoiding me to be really happy in the present moment? The second aspect, that would be also to connect during the day and to be sure that we're having an abdominal breathing. Okay, when we're breathing on the lower parts of our body, we are connecting with our consciousness and the body. When we're starting to breathe up here, this is going up there. The windmill is starting to be really active. So just by breathing more with the, I would say the stomach or the lower part of the thorax, of the abdomen, it's helping us actually to be with our consciousness more in the present moment and more within the heart. So it's making really a shift of between thinking our life and actually living our life. Okay, when we are within our physical body, we can observe directly the senses. The senses are the doors to interact with the environment. So the whole universe is always connecting to us through these senses. But quite often, we're just picking a few senses or a few stimuli, and we're just starting to think about it. But when we're thinking about one specific stimulus, we're just blocking all the other informations. So just by being the witness of all what's happening in the present moment, we allowing this flow of energy, of the prana, to feed us actually. This is already happening when we're having our consciousness within the senses. If, for example, you go for hiking, you go in the nature, in the mountains, and you're just observing a beautiful landscape, you will feel nourished by that. You will see, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. And from the senses, we can access to this information. When we taking care of, for example, when we're eating something and we're putting all our awareness on the taste of the food, with just a small salad, it gives us the impression we had a huge meal. But if I'm away with my consciousness, I can eat a full plate of spaghetti or pasta, but at the end, I will still feel not depleted, but actually not having enough. So the consciousness is the way to trigger actually the doors of our senses. And if we're able to do it consciously enough of time during the day, we will move to something automatic. I mean by that, passively, just by being aware of my senses, I will start to receive the feeding from the light. Okay, this was the second aspect. Third one, that would be to maybe start to get rid of one of the meal. If you're used to eat, I don't know, 5 times per day, then start to go with 3 times per day. If you're already having 3 times per day, then you can move to escape, for example, the breakfast, to having just the lunch and the dinner. And just creating this space where there is no food inside the stomach, it's already creating a lot of healing. Because when the ego is starting to be visible in our system, there is always the strategy to avoid it, to escape it. And the food is one of the best ways to compensate some frustration. So just by starting to actually allow some space within ourselves, it's already creating a transformation. So the stomach is not just here to digest the physical food. It's also here to digest emotional food. So by allowing to have a break during the day, it's creating a lot of healing. Maybe at the beginning, you will have some resistance because all the ego who has been fed by the food at this moment, we will need actually to work on it until we are feeling again happy without this meal. That would be a step, and then another step, and then another one, and so on until you're able to heal all the emotions connected with the physical food. But it's also really important when we playing this, I would say, food game, to be always connected with our physical body. Because if we just leaving the connection with our physical body, we can create also some tension, some resistance, and then it's not helping us to move along the pranic path. So just by repeating that, if you're able sometimes to just skip a meal and just stay the witness of what's happening, the emotion who will come around, that could be some physical tension or some thoughts, and just being the witness with a lot of happiness within yourself, you're already creating a distance between the emotional hunger and the physical hunger. And by doing that, it will start also to reinforce the body. So the body will be able to get more and more access to this pranic feeling. But like I said before, it's important to be always connected with the physical body. Because the trap would be from the mind, from the ego mind, to force the body to not eat anymore. Okay, and it will create some traumatic events in the body, and it will be harder for the body to raise the frequency to the pranic feeling. So it's better to work for a longer time, I would say a short period of time every day, than maybe forcing for a few days until there is like an elastic. It's stretching and then it's coming back to the initial situation in the best case, and in the worst case is moving even more further away. So the idea is to create a bit of tension and then healing this tension. So until the average vibrational frequency is shifting away, I would say back to these experiences. So it's better to do a lot of steps, small steps, and not create any stress by doing bigger steps, because it's not lasting and we'll go back to this initial situation. The best situation would be to just go with your happiness and just realize that actually the food is not interesting you anymore. Then, oh, you skipped a lunch, oh, it doesn't matter, and you keep going with your life, with your happiness. That would be the best strategic way to experience the pranic state. And just by also asking ourselves, if I have enough during a meal, that could also divide a part of the food. Because quite often we eating because it's the time, or we eating a certain amount because we used to have this volume in our plate. But if we are able to eat with enough consciousness, maybe half of the plate is enough. And then that would be important to respect that the body is saying, stop at this moment. So I hope you're keeping in mind all the questions. There is maybe two other aspects that could be interesting for this pranic journey. The first one is related with the meditation. Okay, the meditation is not always in lotus position, 3 hours at 4 a.m. That could be during the day, like 5 minutes, just sitting somewhere on a bench. That could be just observing the present moment a few minutes. The idea of it is to be able to be in this meditative state as long as possible during the day. So you can do whatever you need to be there, but the pranic experiences is starting when you have the majority of your consciousness in the present moment. And for me personally, the meditation is the shortest way to train our consciousness to be in the present moment. So there are hundreds of different meditations. The one I'm suggesting is just to feel happiness within ourselves, just sending love to ourselves. And from this energy, it will start to heal everything. It will help us to connect to everything. And that's it. We just need to feel, not to think, not to do anything, just bringing our consciousness there and feeling happy within ourselves. It seems trivial, it seems simple, but this is the most efficient way I know to connect with this pranic experience. And more you're able to manifest it during your meditation, more it will last during the days. And then you will realize that your whole day is a meditation. Your whole day is happening in the present moment. And this is already done with the pranic feeling. Actually, the day you will be there, you will already have skipped or just forget about the food. This is actually the same path. And the last aspect, that would be also to create mobility with our physical body. That could be related with some yoga, that could be related with some walking. But we need to understand that our body has been built to walk several hours per day. And with the style of our life in our Occidental society, we are used too much to sit, and we need to be standing, we need to be walking around. And I would say, whatever the sport you're doing, the important part is to bring your awareness in your body when you're doing your sport. And if you're doing that, it's also opening all the doors. Your mind is not present, or I would say heavy emotions are not present if you're doing your sport within your physical body. So already, this is pranic feeling. So I think it's time for the questions. If you want also to have some precisions on something else, just go for it.
Yes, thank you, Pascal. We have just about 10 minutes left for some questions. I have one coming in online. And do we have anyone here in presence that has a question? Yeah.
Yes. Are you talking about the one who has been written by Susanna? There is a text that has been sent. I will start answering this one. So Susanna, she's talking about solar flares. Okay.
Just going to say it out loud for the audience here, because they don't know what the question is. But the question that's brought online was about solar flares and the effect that has. Does Pascal feel these? And this person wants to know, they have an impulse to have something in their stomach in response to these solar flares. So generally, I would say, what's the impact of the environment for you, Pascal?
Yes. So the sun has changing really drastically the last few years. So the people who are used to connect with the sun in order to get their pranic feeling, they will feel that the sun is more powerful. There is like a bigger amount of information connected with the sun the last few years. But this information, this is also related with some, I would say, evolution of consciousness. So the people right now, just by standing outside, they're starting to get the teachings to move into a different paradigm. Some people, they're talking about a shift for mankind from the 3D to the 5D. This more open consciousness where everybody will see other people around as sisters and brothers, where we will be connected with all the life around us, animal kingdom, the plants, everything around. And the connection with the environment will be completely different. And a lot of sensitive people, they also relate all these changes coming from the sun. So actually, when there is this new information coming into our auric field, there is a need of upgrade within ourselves. So at the beginning, it's creating a tension. It's creating, let's put it like that. When we observing something with our sensitivity. For example, I had a discussion with someone, but it was not a happy discussion, or I felt an emotion in a specific place. There was a teaching here. And I need actually to heal myself, to integrate this teaching in order to move to the next step. But with the sound frequency right now, there is a lot of these teachings. So some people, they will have maybe the impression they're changing the frequency, but actually they're increasing their sensitivity, and they're observing much more how their ego experience is working. So right now, I would say, if you're able to connect with your consciousness, with the sun, and just sit in meditation, that could be 20 minutes per day, 2 times 10 minutes, or with the sun, you can heal a lot. You can heal a lot. And to answer your questions, when we observing all what is missing in order to be perfectly fine in the present moment, there is this drop of energy. Because just by observing what is lacking, this energy is redirected where it needs to be healed. So for example, if I'm observing, oh, I'm having a bit of sadness within myself, then the energy is already moving toward this experience in order to heal it. So just by connecting with the sun, we are observing all what is missing to be perfectly fine in the present moment. So that's why maybe there is this urge to maybe eat more. But I would say in a healthy way, it's just informing you what needs to be done. So what you can do is relax completely in the experience, dive into it, and just allow a bit more time to integrate this information. So you will not react directly from the information that you've received, but you will react from the, I would say, the closing cycle. It's when it's integrated into the system. But make the sun your friend, because in this material plane, in this experience, the sun is the most direct experience to represent the source. All what is living on this planet is fed by the light. Okay, the animals eating the plants, or the animal eating the animals, or some Breatharian directly with the sun. This is all connected with the life energy. All our body is tuned into the heat, into when it's visible, the light, and the food. So it's all about the sun.
Great. Thank you so much, Pascal. I think we have time for one more question, and we've got someone here from our gathering in Kokore. But I just want to also remind you, if you can speak a little more slowly. I think it's been a little difficult for the translators. I feel your excitement, and I feel all of what you're transmitting. So those of you who are in other languages, receiving in other languages, let's just say that you're receiving everything that you need to receive. Thank you. Last question.
Hello. Thank you. My question is if you can tell more about your guides that are not terrestrial, and who they are. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I can share my experience, but at the end of the day, it's not really important with whom we are working with. This is more related to how strong this connection can be. I will just make an example. I'm just coming back from Peru. I spent 3 months in the jungle, in the Amazonas over there. So I was in silence for 3 months and working with a plant known as ayahuasca. So this is a beverage to help the consciousness to travel, to heal ourselves, but also to expand the consciousness. And I could connect with different plants during this retreat, during this period, and it was evolving from 1 week to another one. And then I had also some other presence coming from the animal kingdom, but also from not only the flowers of the plant, but also from trees, but also from other human beings, and also from what we call supra-humans. So this is beings who has not been incarnated on this planet Earth, was living right now in the galaxy. So one day we will realize that the Earth experience is really like a small lab experience, and the world is much more bigger and full of life of different forms. We just assuming that the human experience is alone in the universe, but it's really not the case. So there are also some beings that they are used in their society, in their experiences, that could be incarnated in the 3D or different dimensional frequencies, that they have already experienced the pranic state. Or there is maybe also some beings, they know perfectly this experience, and all the species is living out of prana. So when we're changing our frequency, there is more and more freedom and open doors to manifest with our consciousness. And here on the mankind experience on this planet Earth, the pranic feeling is a bit like a prototype. It's some kind of experiences. But from other, I would say, society in the universe, this is a really well-known experience. And the idea is actually to connect with these beings, that they can help us to access to this information. So the way I'm doing that would be maybe more important for you than the who is exactly behind it, is to invite the soul of the other person in front of you in meditation, and just stay connected within your heart and learn from this person. So I don't know about your mediumistic or your spiritual journey, but if you're well connected with your soul's family, so the soul's family are the brothers and sisters of the spiritual world that not necessarily incarnated. So if you just invite a member of your soul's family, you will have already a lot of upgrades of how you can connect much more easily to your higher self. And then this person will help you to connect to other beings, depending of how you want to use your freedom, your free will in this life experience. But you can also ask to have a being who is here to help you about this pranic feeling. Or you can also connect directly with Mother Earth or with the source directly. So the point here is more how you create this nice, compassionate connection with the being. It's not exactly related with whom, because behind every beings, we can connect to the source. So I had amazing teachings from the plant kingdom. And for a lot of people, that could be a bit strange to receive some knowledge from the plants. Some other shamans, they're working with the animal kingdom. So they will be more, I would say, accepting the experience to receive teaching from, I don't know, there could be a bear, there could be a wolf, there could be whatsoever we want. But when we are able to move with our consciousness beyond this limitation, we are accessing to the whole panel of the life. So the life that we're experiencing here on this planet Earth, that could be receiving an information from a crystal, for example, with an amethyst. There could be from a plant, there could be the tree of your garden, but that could be also from other beings. And this is depending how your clear senses are open and how you can perceive them, see them, or feel them. And then you will start to realize, oh, they're coming from this vibration, they're coming from this place on the universe, and so on. It will create like a network of people working on the soul level with you.
This is really beautiful. Thank you so much, Pascal. We're going to wrap up now. I just wanted to say thank you. You're not the first person that I've heard speak about bridging the physical world with the invisible world, and communicating with the invisible world as well. And I think that that's really pertinent for us on a pranic journey, that we're moving away from physical food and into the energetic and the invisible and nourishing in other ways. Thank you so much for all of this wealth of information. I know that our brains are exploding in the best way possible with everything you've said and your inspiration for how the steps on how to deprogram and move into a new state of being. Thank you so much, Pascal, for your wealth of information. Is there any last words that you want to say or information that you want to offer, how people can get a hold of you or what you are offering?
Yes. Aim for happiness and you will get Pranic. If you're aiming for Prana, quite often it's based out of ego, because I want to be spiritual, or I want to escape my incarnation, or I want to be seen, or there will hundreds of different ego intentions. But if you're aiming for happiness, you will aim for this harmony with your spiritual being, and the Pranic experience will be along the way. So enjoy your life, create sense in your life, and the Prana will be there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Pascal. Here.
Thank you. Have a beautiful week. Bye.
Thank you so much.